Welcome to Risky Ryan Trades. I'm Ryan, and I'm here to help you make some money. If you saw my weekend review at the very end, I discovered that stocks within Vanguard's Information Technology ETF, an ETF that I invest in, did okay despite many of the other stocks kind of taking a dump last day of the week. So what we're going to be doing here today is digging into VGT's holdings and taking a look at the charts to see how they performed the last few days. There was a major rebalancing because it was the end of the quarter, and there seems to be some more inflows going into some of these names, and if next week is going to be as volatile as I think it might be, I'm going to be looking at some of these names to kind of swap into and see if they're, outperforming the market next week. In that video, that last weekend review video, I looked at Microsoft, Apple, and NVIDIA. I already know Broadcom. All of these guys, they're in hot water right now. The charts don't look beautiful. AMD is not looking excellent. However, once we get deeper into the VGT, it starts to look a little better. Let's just take a look at the VGT performance on this weekly stock chart. So this is how the week ended up. And as you can see, it retested and held above this Fibonacci extension right here. I love that. I think that's support now, and we might be able to see the move up to 631. It'll be a slow and steady, and you might see some more kind of consolidation in here. However, some of these stocks that are part of this ETF are doing really good. So let's take a look. We got Salesforce, CRM, recently got beaten up, and it's trying to roar back. So you can see it found bottom here, right at the cloud. Look at that on the weekly, and we crossed above Tenkan-sen. So this looks really good. Let's take a look at the daily. Still below the cloud, but things are moving in the right direction. I think it wants this 273 number right here. But it's going to run into some issues right here. If it can pierce it, it'll likely retest it, confirm support here, and then move higher back up. You don't want to see it enter the cloud, but the cloud has created support. So 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks from now, 260 should be a pretty strong level of support. Adobe. Trying to get out of the cloud on the weekly. If it can get out next week, if you see it get up here and close above the cloud and above this line, it's looking pretty good. Let's take a look at the daily. We're out of the cloud. This is a buy signal on the daily, but we do have resistance right here at 565. So maybe Adobe isn't going to be one of the ones that I look to. I'm loving the weekly momentum shift right here. That's good, but we do have declining volume. Adobe's a maybe. Adobe is a maybe. Accenture. I didn't realize Accenture was in here. Support right here on 298. We have triple support on the weekly. It was a red candle, but we've got the cloud, we've got the Tenkan-sen, and we've got this. This is a low risk entry because check this out. Let's take a look. That's a 2%. So you put your stop loss like right here because this 297 level, and honestly it's probably more like 300, but 297 level, that's a 2% loss, but you could, the next point it's trying to get to is, so that's a 2 to 1. I like that. And we could see, if this holds, we could see it recover. I know Accenture's been kind of beaten up. This is not accurate. Let me do that. That's better. Okay, let's take a look again. Okay, so this line right here is resistance, 308, not support. Or 300 is not support, but, or sorry, it is support from the cloud and from the Tengen-sen. However, we are in the cloud. This goes against the rules of Ichimoku, of course. I would want to see it close above 308. And let's take a look at the daily. Yeah. No. Accenture's a no for me, dog. Yeah, after moving those Fibonacci lines, I don't feel like it has enough support to really justify the risk. Let's look at the weekly again. I mean, yeah, the cloud might hold up. It might. But I wouldn't bet on it. So Accenture's a no for me. Let's take a look at CSCO real quick. Okay, so you have a curling on the weekly, which I like. We may have dug out bottom. What kind of drop are we looking at? We're looking at a 6% drop, so that's scary. Let's take a look at the daily. Cisco's an almost. All right, Intuit. This thing's the beast. I'm already in Intuit. Intuit's a great company to, you know, buy and hold for the long run. You could see it. We recovered out. We flipped this line right here, and we're moving up. We're trying to. We cleared the gap, so I want to see continued strength. And this kind of chart you want to look at like the 1 hour because it's moving fast. It doesn't seem to really go below Tengen-sen on the 1 hour. It did right here, but not very often. This is really strong on the 1 hour. I would probably be watching the 1 hour. Now, we do have a little bit of cross here, so we may see a little bit of a cool off. And it does seem to be trading in a range, so you might see this come down without the price coming down too much. But once it clears this, it's the next leg up. And we got 700 that we're looking at. And now, as far as like a long-term play, I want you to look at this. So we created this range here. Once we can break 700, we're looking at 900 for the next key level. So if we can turn this fan and this Fibonacci number right here into support, and especially if this just busts through and it gets to like 760, yeah, I like it. I like Intuit. Yeah, the weekly's curling over in a really strong way. So I believe my cost basis is right around here. I don't know if I'm like, because I think I just entered because I wanted to be involved, and it just dumped on me. I got out, and then I got back in down here. But I don't know if I'm like profitable on Intuit this year. So I don't know if I'm going to be adding to my position necessarily unless I see something I really love happen up here. But Intuit is looking very strong. This 625 level of support seems to be confirmed to my eyes because it just blasted through it like it didn't even matter. ORCL. Looks really strong. Looks really strong on the weekly. It's holding. I kind of figure there's probably some Fibonacci thing going on here because it's just holding up there for some reason. Yeah. So it broke through and it's holding. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. It might be coming down to test though. I mean, just keep your eye on it. I don't know if I'd go chasing this one. That's the only thing. Like, I missed it. Let's take a look at the daily for the hell of it. Yeah, it gapped up big. It could gap down to retest this level. And it's closed below Tengen-sen for a few days. ORCL might see a correction. Curling on the MACD. I don't love that. ORCL's a no. Intel. Poor Intel. Intel is like the Nike of chips. Deeply hated. Okay, yeah, that's an ugly chart, but it looks like we've pounded out a bottom here for a while. I don't know if it's good. It might be dead money, but it is not a risky. Whoa, that's 23%. Holy crap. Yeah, no. That's a no for me. I mean, the momentum is like it's creating a higher low, but it's, yeah, it is just dumped again on the weekly. Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah, for the time being, it's okay. I mean, you could, yeah, what is that? Okay, so this is only like a 3% drop. So, you know, you could, if you think Intel is going to turn the ship around and become a competitor with NVIDIA, first of all, I want what you're smoking. But second of all, you could buy here. It's only like a 3% stop loss or whatever. And you could see a gap fill, to right here. We'll have to see. I don't love it. If it could get over these support levels, it just can't seem to do it. Close over it, get into the cloud or something, maybe then the trade is on, but I think we don't see anything until next earnings is probably the most likely scenario. Qualcomm, let's look at it. I never look at Qualcomm. QCM. Qualcomm falling out of the sky. That is the biggest no ever. Yeah, and see, it tried to recover and it just said no. And we're probably heading to the cloud, is my guess. Let's take a look at the weekly. This looks like a failed breakout to me of some kind. Well, the breakout hasn't failed on the weekly. The weekly actually looks kind of promising. If we have a decent week next week with Qualcomm, the daily could be salvaged. We could get back above the moving average. I'll be keeping an eye on Qualcomm. If it has a swift recovery, the trade might be back. But we did create a lower low here, so I don't love that. And yeah, 191, let's take a look at 191 in the weekly. 191. Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's see what happens with it. It is above Tenkan-sen on the weekly. It's still in an uptrend on the weekly time scale, but it looks like it got ahead of itself. It tried to shoot for this 245 and it just got sold down with a ton of momentum. Big red candles. Yeah, Qualcomm, a little risky. Applied Materials. Strong, but toppish behavior right here. In the cloud, not good. I'd want to see this get out of the cloud before I'd enter any position in here. I mean, if it can, get all of the Ichimoku in place, then and it can clear this especially, but like maybe if it looks strong enough and there's some clear support levels, let's do let's see if we can do a Fibonacci on this. I don't think that's right. I think this is probably 150 down to here. That's probably 200. Yeah, that's more accurate. So, okay, I think I see what's going on here. So, one sec. So we're sitting at the 38.2. Yeah, you could enter here and, put your stop loss right below this weekly candle and hope that this level holds. If you're risky. Disclaimer, if you follow my advice or you get inspired by me and you lose a bunch of money, you can't sue me. This is my opinions, not financial advice. Okay, IBM. So these are still 1% ratings. You know what? I'm just going to pick a couple that I like. ServiceNow. Let's take a look at ServiceNow. Looks good on the weekly. Looks great on the daily. Looks really strong. It looks like it's gunning for this 815 with haste. I wouldn't short this thing. You know, it's just moving up really strong. Let's see the weekly, see if there's some like key levels. Perfect. Okay. Okay, I like that. So it is a bit of a drop, I'm guessing, from... Here, let's just take a look and see where we're at on this. Actually, wait. Stopped right below there, so that's a little concerning. So this is the 38.2 level. If this can get flipped to support, and we break this, we're above 50. I mean, I like what I'm seeing. We obviously bottomed right here, and now we're moving up. And oh, but Tenkinson is not above Kijinson. I would probably be waiting for that to happen. I'm gonna leave a little note for myself. Okay. Let's look at, like, what are we at? 17 minutes? Let's look at two more. Let's look at Micron. We'll look at Lam and Micron. Is that not the ticker? LRCX? Why would they do that when Lam is available? If support 1,000 and moving averages close. Take a look at the daily. See what I meant. Okay. Okay. Let's look at the weekly again. Okay, I like this. It broke through. It retested, and now it's moving bullish. Lam is on my radar. Lam is on my radar. I'm going to write Lam down. LRCX. Let's just take a look and see here. So if this, basically the way I would play this, because it's a momentum play, like we dug out a low, and you know the weekly looks strong, but we dug out a low, and we finally closed above Tenkinson. So if we were to close below it again, and like this 1050 is a key level here, so that's probably where I would draw my... Let's take a look here. 1.39% with the opportunity to retest the highs at 3. I like that. LRCX is... That's a buy for me. I'll probably be entering a position, and then I'll just... This will be my stop loss. I'll put it a little under there. Yeah, I wouldn't want to see it retest that. That would be not momentum. Okay, and then what was the Micron? Oof. Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, they got sold off pretty hard. We closed underneath this Fibonacci level. We do have a Gann fan level. that has never been tested before, never needed to be tested before. Let's take a look at the weekly. It's brutal. Brutal for Micron. I don't know why it got punished so bad. I mean, we're still kind of on this trend. Big red. Big red. Wow. Okay. Yeah, this is not an ideal play. If you're in for the long run, maybe you watch it, see if it actually does come down to touch Tengen-sen in this GAN fan. But then, you know, it's going to be a long time before it recovers in any meaningful way. Micron, to me, is kind of on the back burner. It closed above this high, though. So 130 is kind of a key level here. I'd be keeping your eye on 130. I'm going to set an alert if it drops below 130, just to grab my attention and take a look at it. Okay, that'll wrap up the video. Thank you so much for watching. I have no subscribers. I feel so lonely. No one comments on my videos. Probably because I just started 2 weeks ago. Maybe you could be my first best friend. I could look at any stock you want, analyze it, and tell you my thoughts. I'd love to get a conversation going. This is what I'd be doing anyways, so I just figured I'd record it, and maybe some of you find value in it. And if you do, hit the like button. Hit the like button. It helps me out. And yeah, good luck trading. Don't be too risky, but, you know, try to make some money. And I'll catch you next time.